Hey, welcome back to the Big Rant Show. As always, thank you for joining me. If you could, hit the subscribe button down below and let's get right to it. Now, yesterday was April 20th, 420 for those that like marijuana, apparently. It's a day where people just kind of, I guess they feel free to just light one up and smoke a joint, I suppose. And my thing is, I'm not into marijuana. It's not something I do. I'm just not, drugs just aren't my thing, really, except maybe caffeine. And so, it's not really my thing. But if an adult wants to smoke marijuana, why should we stop them? That's my entire question. If they want to, why should we prevent them from doing so? And Chuck Schumer, Senator from New York, has a plan to decriminalize marijuana at the federal level. First off, this would stop federal agents from raiding dispensaries in states where it's been legalized, and would keep federal agents from arresting you for possessing marijuana, pretty much, in and of itself. Now, there's going to be a lot of debate about this, and a lot of people aren't going to be happy about it. A lot of people are going to think it's a terrible idea. But in most states that have legalized marijuana at this point, they haven't had a lot of connection to higher crime and things like that over use of marijuana. You've had some states where, say, being arrested or arrest for DUI, driving under the influence, those have gone up in some places, but no different than you would expect. Say you banned alcohol, so for years the numbers were low on the number of people that were caught driving, while intoxicated. And then all of a sudden you legalize it. Yes, there's going to be a small uptick in the number of people that are going to probably get arrested for using, because there's always going to be those people that are irresponsible. And those people should be punished. They should be arrested. They should put in jail for putting other people's lives at risk. But they should, if they're not harming anybody else, you're in your own home, I think you should be able to do what you want. If you're at home in your own house, if you want to smoke pot, you should be allowed to do so. And Chuck Schumer has apparently evolved to the point that he believes this is a good idea. There are about five things they said that this law would be pertaining to. One, they want to make sure that states are allowed to make their own choices on whether or not they want to legalize marijuana in their state or not. Another thing is that, of course, like I said, they want to decriminalize marijuana to where federal agents cannot be arresting you simply for having it, and where they wouldn't raid state dispensaries, and stuff like that, especially in states where it's legal, where it's been legalized statewide to sell marijuana and have marijuana on your person. Also, they want to allow, there to be more testing and more studies done into THC and marijuana and the effects that it has on health and other things and other things like that. This could lead to some good breakthroughs possibly for, different drugs and things like that to help things like cancer or any number of different elements out there. You never know what could come of being able to study marijuana. We already know that things like cannabis oil and marijuana has had some effects on, reducing tumor sizes and things like that and helping cancer patients. And so there's any number of things that could still be available this could still possibly help with. You never know. You never know what it's going to do and everything like that. So it's going to be a state-to-state thing. And they want to do research. Also, they want to allow different, minority business owners as well as female business owners, and smaller business people to be able to get in on being able to sell marijuana in their states if it's legal in their state. They want to make sure it's not just big corporations coming in and doing it. They don't just want Marlboro basically coming in and being able to, basically control the market without anybody else having any kind of input into it. They really seem to be looking at it as if it could be a good business venture and a good way for people to make some money, and get people to work in a lot of places. And lastly, they want to make sure they want to give FTC the authority to regulate advertisement of marijuana. They don't want to be able to advertise. They want to be able to advertise where children can see it and children can go buy it and things like that. One thing they want to make sure is that children's use of marijuana doesn't go up, and that it's not there as often. That it's not directed at them. If you remember those cigarette commercials from the 80s and early 90s, where they're very cartoonish, very much clearly driven towards children, and even their own data and their own paperwork showed that they were doing that. They want to get out in front of it for the decriminalization of marijuana and make sure the FTC can put a regulation in place to prevent advertisement towards children. And to be honest with you, I don't believe it should be able to be advertised on television or radio anyway. I don't believe it should be legal to do that. I really don't believe we should be advertising, beer and liquor on TV either, especially during times when kids could be watching, i.e. NFL football every Sunday. It's like every commercial is a beer commercial, and you wonder why kids are always trying to try beer when they're, in their early teens and sometimes younger. But that's what is going on here. Now, I have serious doubts that this will ever pass. Sure, Chuck Schumer is going to introduce it to the Senate. But right now, especially right now, you got so many Republicans in office, and most of them do not support the legalization of marijuana, that I do not believe the decriminalization of marijuana will be made possible. I don't believe they'll pass. I don't believe it'll pass Congress and the Senate. And if it happens to squeak by in the Senate somehow or another on a 51-49 vote, it probably would not pass the House. And I can guarantee you our current president of the United States will not sign it. So there's going to have to be some changes in the makeup of Congress, and possibly a change in the makeup of who's in the White House. So, we're probably looking at least 2020 to 2024 before anything like this is ever even able to pass, unless somebody can convince Donald Trump that it's okay to do. I don't see Donald Trump allowing it to pass. Unless Congress overwhelmingly supports it, and it can come back and they can override a veto. But anyhow, that's what's been going on. I think it's a great idea. I think it's something that needs to be done. I do believe we do need to decriminalize it at the federal level. We need to allow research. We need to allow all states to decide whether or not they want to legalize it in their state or not. I think that's probably the best way to go with marijuana, because not every state is going to want to legalize it, and not every and some people, different people are going to want different things. So I don't believe it's going to pass, but if it does, I think it'll be a good step forward. And two, it wouldn't be a legalization bill. It'd be a bill to just simply decriminalize and allow people to smoke it in the states where it's legal. If it wasn't legal in your state, you still would be, you'd still have to follow the law. Because there's going to be a lot of misinformation out there about this coming out in the next few days, I guarantee days and weeks, where they're saying that, he's just trying to decriminalize it, so everyone's smoking pot, and everyone's, on pot and this and that, and how they're going to aim it to children, and how they're going to force every state to do it. No, neither one of those is true. But in this day and age, we're supposed to be a country of freedom. And one thing we're not allowing people to be free to do is smoke a plant. When we allow people to drink alcohol, which kills more people, even if there's more traffic accidents for alcohol than there are marijuana. At least they have to this point. Alcohol does a lot to kill other people, and a lot to kill you. There's been no known, anyway, overdoses, really, of where people have died from smoking marijuana. Now, there's been some elements that have come up from people smoking way too much, but it's not like killing them. but it can have an effect on the body if you smoke too much, like too much alcohol. And so, I think it's a great way to go. I do think we need to make sure that there are laws in the way to prevent certain things. Got to make sure that people aren't smoking it and then driving. As Chuck Schumer said, it should only, if you're, if as long as you're not hurting anybody else, it should be legal to do. Let me give you one quick quote from him on the subject. From Chuck Schumer, he said in a post in Medium on Friday, he says, a staggering number of American citizens and disproportionate number of whom are African American or Latino continue to be arrested every day for something that most Americans agree should not be a crime. Meanwhile, those who are entering into the marijuana market in states that have legalized and are set to make a fortune. This is not only misguided, but it only undermines the basic principles of fairness and equal opportunity that are fundamental to the American way of life. According to his office, marijuana would be removed from the list of substances classified under the Controlled Substances Act. Now, the thing is, that's going to be a hard sell for a lot of people. But anyhow, that's what's going on. If you support this, let me know in the comments down below. If you don't support it, let me know as well. Hit me up on Twitter as well. Twitter will be in the description. And everything. And you just let me know what you think on the decriminalization of marijuana and allowing states to decide whether or not they want to legalize it or not. Because some states, I guarantee you, would legalize it if they weren't worried about the federal implications. Anyhow, y'all have a great day. This has been the Big Ranch Show. I've been your host, Jacob Keck, and I'll see you down the road.